So for those of our seasoned listeners, by this time they will now know that Broken Skull, it was a failure. It was bogus.
In theory.
It's crap.
Well, it was only 2 years ago. They probably still have my stuff on file.
You think?
Yeah, they could call anytime. I'm ready.
You still keeping in shape?
That's why that's why I still have a cell phone. Just for that reason.
That's why I still do cardio. God knows there's no other reason.
Yeah, I don't have any other excuse for doing cardio.
Serious question, though. Fitness question. I'd like to say it came from a fan, but it didn't. Is there any sincere need for cardio in bodybuilding?
Yeah, if like you need to specifically cut up or you want specific definition, then yeah, you're going to have to do some cardio probably. But some of the Mr. Olympia level dudes will let you know like they don't really cardio.
That's stupid. Can't you just put some of the ab jelly on you and get one of those electronic shocking dealies?
Oh, I thought you were going to say one of those waistband things that like people wrap around them like a slimming.
Well, yeah.
It looks like a back brace.
It's in essence that, except there's little like tens unit electrodes to stimulate your muscles.
Yeah.
That's how anybody gets a six pack.
Don't ask me, man. I've had a six pack once in my life for like 2 months. I'm not your
Well, why don't you get one of those
book of
belts?
knowledge. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it works.
What?
But who am I? I'm not Steve Cook.
Do you even know anything about fitness? Like, honestly.
I know several things, like facts about fitness, but there's a lot of things.
Pseudoscience? Like what?
Hey, man, if there's an article that says that there's an article that negates it, and both of them are backed by science.
Have you ever considered that it's your lack of abs and your lack of trust in the belt that keeps you from getting signed to these big name feds?
I can't say that's not the reason. It could be the reason.
What's the closest you've come? Well, not the Fed, because I don't know if we've discussed the tryout.
Mm-hmm. No, not yet.
Because it's that phrase that you like to use a lot.
Oh, yeah, it's a story for another day.
Dick. But I don't know. How about like a Fed? Maybe not the Fed, but how about a Fed?
Yeah, so today we are going to tell a story from another day, one I mentioned before. It just hadn't come up yet. But today it comes up.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, I want to talk about a wrestling thing that took place in Indianapolis that was insane.
Insane good or insane bad? With the people you hang out with, I'm unclear.
It was just insane. It was good in the best and worst of ways. A buddy of mine.
Two paths diverging in the woods.
Yeah, so a buddy of mine, Dylan Bostic, he's insane. He's great. He's one of the best dudes ever.
He's Gucci, man.
So he finds his way into all sorts of weird stuff, and he's friends with some pretty important people. I'll even say someone's off air that you're like, oh, wow, that really? They're friends?
Chris Jericho?
I wish, man. If he was friends with Chris Jericho, he might have a job in AEW right now. So he calls me up one day. He's like, hey, man, so I think I might be able to get a job with this individual. I'm like, oh, really? And this unnamed individual is a pretty prominent member of Indianapolis society. He may or may not have played football for the Colts. And now he may or may not be involved in comedy. Who knows?
Peyton Manning.
It's not Peyton Manning. I don't think he's still in Indy. But, our heart is with Peyton Manning.
Oh, absolutely.
Regardless of where he is.
I go to his hospital just to pay respects every now and again.
When my friend was visiting here from Denmark, we went to Lucas Oil Stadium and took a picture together in front of the Manning statue, and I explained why Peyton Manning is the single most important individual in the history of Indianapolis.
Yes.
And it's true. He's the single one. You could say he's the number one. Maybe other people are the number one. Who knows? But we worked for an important number one person in Indianapolis. So Dylan got a job with this guy. Unnamed professional athlete turned comedy guru. And Dylan was like, hey, man, I can't tell you too much about what's going on. It's just going to be great. You got to be involved. I'm like, yep, sure. So eventually he gets a hold of me and he gives me just like a few more details. He's like, hey, man, so I need you to be a devil worshiper and show up downtown on Tuesday.
How's that different than your normal day to day?
Not much. Yeah, not much different at all. Like, he meant like, hey, man, like wear your coat and like buy some eyeliner.
Oh, I got you.
So I was like, yeah, sure, man. You just tell me where to be. He's like, cool, Tuesday night, 6:30, show up at this place. So I go downtown and show up in this building off Meridian, and I'm like, I knock on the door and they like, barely pull it open and peek in because it's super, super hush hush. And I go in, and in the first few seconds, I see one of my buddies from Michigan walk up to me, and he's painted like the devil. Like he's just covered in red paint and has all this super intense like stuff on, because sometimes he plays a character where he's the devil. And I'm like, oh, hey man, what's up? He's like, oh, hey, good to see you, man. What's up? And we're catching up. And
you're already comfortable with the devil. Like you and the devil go way back.
It's not weird in the context of my life that I would just walk into a building and my friends dressed like Satan, and like really good Satan. I'm talking about like Hollywood makeup style Satan, not poor man Satan, not Spirit of Halloween Satan.
This guy's been the devil before.
Yeah, he's done this, and it was nothing weird. And plus, I was asked to show up and be a devil worshiper. So, hey, this isn't crazy. I knew a little bit what I might be getting into. So, and then a minute later, another buddy of mine, Scotty Young, walks up, and Scotty Young is dressed like all super redneck and hillbilly, and he's got like a cut off flannel on and a Make America Great hat on again. And, no disrespect to whomever agrees with that. But, like he comes up to me, I'm like, oh man, you look like a real douche. And then a second later.
Well, wait, he wasn't even changed though.
Yeah, it was just his normal clothes. I'm like, hey man, are you supposed to wrestle? And then my buddy Bobby comes up, and he just looks all like super disheveled and screwed up because Bobby's a weird looking guy anyway. The premise of what we're doing this night is we're filming a wrestling related pseudo television show for the internet, like a webisode thing. And we're in this random building. There's a ring set up, and there's great lighting. Like it's super professional. It's a small TV studio set up in this bigger studio, which is also used for podcasting and for this and for that. And I don't know, about 10 million things, apparently, I learned to find out. So I hear the premise of all this stuff, and we're filming 3 episodes that night. And this number one individual from Indianapolis, has this like comedy troupe gimmick or whatever. And his, what do you call them? Organization says a lot of stuff online, and they're known for pissing people off. So the idea is that they say some joke or they do something where it pisses off someone to the point where the person shows up to the studio and wants to fight them. So they have to fight the organization's wrestler that's defending their honor, which is going to be Dylan Bostic.
Because Dylan is a man of high moral character. And that totally makes sense.
Because Dylan and this group of people they're one and the same. Dylan is the physical embodiment of all of these individuals.
Of AFED.
Yeah, of this organization. So like, you know what? He has to defend the honor of this company. So they're filming 3 episodes. In the first one, actually the first one that aired, I think it was filmed last, but Dylan Bostic has to fight the devil because this company said something, and the devil DM'd them on Twitter or Instagram and was like, hey, I don't like that you guys said this. And then they made fun of the devil's mom. And the devil was like, no, for real, though, I'm going to show up to Indiana and take your souls. And they were like, oh, if you're really the devil, then even you'd be disgusted by what we did to your mom last night. And he's like, no, for real, I'm coming up to steal all your souls. And they're like, okay, cool, show up here. So Dylan has to fight Satan for the possession of everyone's soul. If the devil wins, he takes everyone's soul. At least everyone in Indiana. Maybe everyone everywhere. But Indiana at the least. And my buddy, who's the devil for this episode, I overhear him cutting a great promo, where he's like talking about stealing everyone's soul. And then the interviewer's like, wait, hold on a second. Like, if you win, you even get my soul? And he's like, yes. And the dude's like, in that case, I'm sorry. I don't think I can root for you tonight. And the dude stayed super professional, but acted terrified. It's like, I'm sorry. I don't think I can root for you tonight. And that was great. And then I hear Dylan cut some promo about the devil wanting to come take people's souls. Well, that's not going to happen. Oh, and one of the things he mentioned was, he's taking the souls of a lot of people, Jared Fogle, and like he mentioned like 1 or 2 other people. It's like, but you know what? He's not going to get our soul. So for this episode, they needed a devil worshiper. So they go ahead and I make my hair look all insane, and I blacked out my eyes and drew little upside down crosses under my eyes, and then they handed me a sign that said "Hail Satan." And
wait, why couldn't you use your own?
Yeah, I have, my handwriting's not great. So the one in my car, they told me I couldn't use. So that's just a thing I keep in there for when I drive past, like churches, protesters and stuff. Yeah. So I went ahead and get pulled into like the front row, And I'm just standing there, and the whole crowd is a studio audience, and they're being told when to go crazy and go nuts. By the way, the whole thing is sponsored by Natty Light.
Yeah.
So there are cases of Natty Light and Natter Days everywhere. So everyone's just down in Natty Light. So everyone's having a good time, and everyone's getting loud.
How many Natter Days did you have?
Dude, so I'm gonna be honest, I don't have Natter Days.
What?
Not my thing. But if I wanted to leave with a case of Natter Days, I could have. So, I mean, I'll bring it to you if you want. I hear it's great.
It's not so great. Although if number one wants to hang out on another podcast I'm affiliated with, I will drink whatever amount of Natter Days is necessary. Mm-hmm. I just want to go on record as saying
I think number one here loves Natter Days, and they love him because I heard him talking about the story of how he got their sponsorship. It sounded really easy. It sounded like a phone call, and they're like, yep, we're going to have a dude fight the devil and a test tube baby and a redneck racist dude, and he's going to win. And they're like, cool, what do you need?
Here's a blank check.
I've never had a conversation that easy with a sponsor.
Well, maybe you should just up the level of your shows.
Yeah, maybe. I have been sponsored by alcohol, though.
Fuzzy.
At Fuzzy's Vodka. 10 times better than Tito's if you've never had Fuzzy's. Try it. Fuzzy Zoller is a man that loves Indianapolis, too. Respect him. Rest in peace. So
he didn't die?
Are you serious? He's alive?
I'm pretty sure he didn't die.
Oh.
You continue on with your story. I'll Google this.
Respect to him for supporting local business. They're all about supporting local. So they put me in the front row, and like everyone's going nuts, right? Satan comes out, and I'm holding up my sign. And the only thing I do, like I keep the same look on my face, but every now and then I'll hold up my sign, and then every now and then I'll throw devil horns up, and that's it. So then Dylan comes out, does his thing, and Dylan said, like, even when he's looking in the crowd, was like, dude, it was hard to keep a straight face looking at you because the entire crowd's going nuts, and I'm just standing in the front row looking like a psychopath. I was just trying to stare a hole through him the whole time. So they have this match, and everyone knows it's for everyone's soul. So then at the end of the match, there's a big swerve. So like the Easter Bunny comes out because this one is going to be released around Easter time, and then it looks like the Easter Bunny is going to help Dylan Bostic. But it doesn't. The Easter Bunny turns on Dylan Bostic and like hits him with something. And they're like, oh no, I can't believe that just happened. The Easter Bunny's been in cahoots with the devil the whole time. And then a second later, Jesus Christ comes out. Jesus Christ comes out to resurrect Dylan Bostic into a comeback and beat up the Easter Bunny and to beat up the devil. And then he gets on the turnbuckle and Jesus points at the cherry picker that was in the building. And Dylan takes a step onto the cherry picker. And then Jesus gives the cue for him to abscond to the ceiling and then jump off and crossbody everyone.
So Dylan, strong in his faith, leapt from the cherry
obviously
picker.
It was scary actually because it was a very far drop and it landed like straight on the Easter Bunny. So the guy who played the Easter Bunny got a little beat up because of this, but that was hilarious. And that was all I did on the show. And then except for at the end of the match, the like host guy like came up and got into my face and just started screaming. And I just like put my head down in shame because Satan just lost. So that was my episode. That was ridiculous. So I didn't do anything, but I'm so glad I got to be front row to be a part of Dylan Bostic versus the devil.
And the Easter Bunny.
And essentially the Easter Bunny. Dylan and Jesus against the Easter Bunny and the devil. Natural setup for next month. Tag team match. Yeah, and then the quick run through the other episodes. For the Cinco de Mayo episode, Dylan Bostic fought Scotty Young, but he didn't fight Scotty Young.
Mr. William Ding, I'm sure is what you meant to say.
So he had to fight Mr. William Ding.
Yeah, you put some respect on it.
AKA The Wall.
The Wall's a hell of an athlete.
Yeah, so he fought Bill Ding, The Wall. And the whole story here was Bill Ding is a racist redneck idiot who loves, I was getting ready to say the name, Number One and his comedy until he heard on the Number One show that they couldn't wait for Cinco de Mayo to go out and get trash and stuff. And that's a Mexican holiday. And Bill Ding doesn't like Mexican holidays. He didn't like tacos at all.
Well, so far he just doesn't like non-American holidays or ethnic food. That doesn't necessarily make him a racist.
I mean,
come on.
Debatable. So, but then he cut some pretty good promos. And one was like, Mexican, more like Mexican come into my country.
That one's slightly racist.
And or something like that. And then there were a bunch more. So he was fighting to abolish Cinco de Mayo as an American holiday at all. And then during his match, Luchador ran in and did something to him, and then Dylan capitalized and won and saved Cinco de Mayo. And then the next episode was a Mother's Day episode where Dylan had to fight a test tube baby. And the whole premise of this was the test tube baby wasn't born with a mom, so he wanted a mom. And he challenged Dylan Bostic to a fight for possession of Dylan Bostic's mom, who was there to make this storyline even better.
And is she a prize to be won?
Oh, yeah. Dylan. Yeah, you'd love Dylan's mom. You'd totally say Dylan has a hot mom. So Dylan's mom still looks great, and she's a wonderful woman. She's super sweet. And
she's single, or
I think so,
right.
Actually. So Dylan's mom even had to cut a promo about how she was like kind of weirded out that this is the thing that's happening, and she really hopes that Dylan wins because she doesn't want to be the mom to this freak. And my buddy Bobby looks a little bit like a freak, and he's missing a pec, and he's just short and disheveled looking, and he looked like a psychopath. I hear he cut a promo that was absolutely fantastic in the bathroom, but I didn't get to hear it live. So then they fought. I don't remember what big swerve happened in their match to make Dylan Bostic win.
Why isn't there a wrestler named Big Swerve?
I don't think so, but there should be.
That's what I mean. There just needs to be a big swerve.
There's a pretty well-known dude from the Independents who just got signed to WWE who goes by Swerve.
Dang it.
So someone, if they were to take Big Swerve, would probably be called out for ripping off him.
That sucks.
Yeah, so this was like pretty much one of the most fun nights I've ever had in professional wrestling. It was for 3 webisodes. The first one got like 300,000 views or something. I think the others got like 50, 60,000 views.
Well, not enough Satan.
But I mean, I think they should have had more Satan. There was a rumor of filming 3 more episodes. I was really hoping that the Devil Worshipper would get to fight on his own. But that never surfaced. There was a rumor, and I may or may not have gotten called to come and play a terrorist on the next set of episodes.
Wouldn't that have jacked up your chances for a callback, though?
From Steve?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. He seems pretty racist. I mean, I think Steve would want to beat up a Arab terrorist, too.
Ooh, so maybe go that angle then.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should show up to Broken Skull Challenge in LA just with a... I was going to say turban, but it's not a turban. It's a...
I'm not sure either. But to be fair,
Yeah.
Steve wouldn't know what it was.
That's true.
I mean,
he wouldn't know. Yeah. All he'd know is I ain't white.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He'd try to give me a stunner.
Does he still do that?
Nah, not really.
I mean, that's not what he used to be.
He's got a new show. Started last night. Straight Up Steve Austin.
What the hell is that?
I didn't watch it. I would watch it, but I just didn't.
Because you're still getting caught up on his podcast.
I still listen to an occasional Stone Cold podcast. They're good.
Oh, man.
He had Hulk Hogan on the other day. That was great.
Well, I was going to say, does he have Chris Jericho on? But I think he has had Jericho on.
I don't know.
What?
Probably.
I mean, you don't know. It's the most electrifying moment in podcast history.
I'm not obsessed with Chris Jericho. He has a good podcast, though.
It's true.
What more about this this thing that happened downtown Indy one day?
Hey, and could still happen.
I mean in theory, it could. It just I haven't heard about it. There's a lot of catering, but people already eaten pretty much by the time that I got there. So at the end of the night, I just got like a piece of fried chicken. But they had killer catering going on.
Why were you there so late?
Because they did like all day. They did filming of all these promos and vignettes on Monday. And then Tuesday afternoon, they did more, but they didn't need me because I was just a devil worshiper and I would have gotten in the way. So they didn't get me there till Tuesday night.
I just would have gotten in the way, what with my rampant devil worship and everything.
Yeah, like I was just like lighting stuff on fire and, taking up the bathroom.
Ouija boards and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. And who knows what would have happened? It was a full moon the night before. Yeah, so that was my story with... Dylan Bostic and the good old number 1, the heater.
Numero uno.
Who, I don't know. I still support. Maybe he works for WWE now. Who knows? I don't know. Do you know?
I believe he does.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think he's, still doing some comedy, maybe some ESPN stuff.
A little bit of ESPN stuff too. Yeah. Spare time. Yeah.
But yeah, you can YouTube all the stuff. I put a bunch of links to it up. It's plausible deniability. We could be talking about any show.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of these sound like very generic scenarios that anyone could have done. So yeah.
So it was a great day at the office, if I'd say so myself.
I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
yeah, so at Off the Cliff Pod, at Jacob on 2012, at Multimedia Muscle.
Multimedia Muscle.
Ooh, that's good. That's your new line. Multimedia Muscle.
As soon as I get to be as big as Smooth.
That was a Freudian slip. At Multimedia Muscle. At Multimedia Hustle is Pete. And until next week, hail Satan.